Now that we have covered already the PvP and the role description part on your CV, it is important to move on into the skills part. And why do we focus on skills? We focus on skills actually because this is one of the two things that the hiring manager or the hiring team or the recruiter is looking for when screening your CV. The second thing is your attitude, or how do you match, how do you fit within the team, your future team. But we'll be talking about this one on a separate lesson a bit later. Okay, so now when you think of different skills that you should include in your CV when you're applying for a remote opportunity, you always need to keep on your mind that for generic skills such as, let's say, communication, you need to remember that you need to combine it with a remote twist. What does it mean? It means that in this specific case, for example, you could include virtual communication or digital communication instead of just communication. Of course, think also of other different skills that remote workers or people who work independently should possess, and try to include them in these skills in your CV. Of course, don't forget to focus also on the hard skills. So the hard skills prove actually what kind of tools you can use, and you can think of different tools that remote workers should be able to use for the specific position that you are applying for. Here, in this slide, you can see some of the most critical skills that a remote worker should possess. So let's say that we focus on time management or virtual collaboration or self-organization. And self-organization actually is something very important. Why is it important? When you work for a company, not remotely, but let's say based on an office, you have to be there 9 to 5, for example, and you don't get a lot of distraction. But when you work remotely, sometimes you will have people, your friends, let's say, calling you to participate on different activities, which may cause distraction. And sometimes you may also think that, okay, I'm working remotely, so I can complete this task during the night and not now, so you'll be involved on the different other activities. But you also have to keep in mind that when you work remotely, you may be in a position of working remotely for a company which requires people to be on different to work on different time zones. What does this mean? This means actually that you have to finish your work today and not let it for the late night in order to deliver it the next day. So self-organization actually, it's something very, very important for people who work remotely. We are almost done with your CV. We already touched the work experience, the PvP, the skills, and now it is time to touch something different, something that not that many people think about, and something that will make you actually stand out of the crowd of the other applicants. So, many recruiters and many hiring managers look into the CV for different activities or interests that you may have. And the reason they look for these activities is because they answer three main questions: who you are, how do you behave, and also who you want to be. And the answer to this question is something very important for them in order to help them to make a decision if you be a good fit with the rest of the team members or not. Now, when you think how should you include this interest or these different hobbies in your CV, I have for you a very simple, let's say, process. It's only 3 steps that you need to follow. The first one is to write down all the activities that you perform or all the different hobbies that you have. Next to it, actually, write down also the skills that you need to perform when you are involved in one of these activities. And the third steps would be to compare it to the different skills that the position that you are applying for requires. So once you make the comparison, you know what is related, what of the skills that you possess actually is related to the skills that the hiring manager is looking for. This is how you'll help them make a decision. Now, we are almost in the end, and you may think that we have not mentioned anything about the educational background. We didn't mention anything about the educational background because it is very simple. If you are a fresh starter, let's say that you just got out of the college, then you can put this educational background, educational experience on top of your CV. So below the PvP sections, but above the work experience sections. But if you already have some years of experience, then I would suggest to include it below the work experience sections, because what you want to show to the recruiter or to the hiring manager is your experience, your main responsibilities, and your achievements. Now, in terms of content, what you should include there is only the title of your degree, the university, and when you got graduated. So I wish you good luck on creating your CV and on applying on your dream job remotely.